Welcome to Sage Sisters. We are sisters, besties, moms, and co-founders having a fun catch-up on parenting and life.
Hi, I'm Ann.
And I'm Kate. Excited to be here today.
We are so excited today. We have our first guest ever on the Sage Sisters podcast. And I have spent all weekend working on her intro. So drum roll, please. And now we have, she's wiser, she's smarter, she's nicer, she's taller, she's a better gift giver, which is annoying because it makes us all look bad. She's mom and dad's favorite by far, even though they won't claim it.
By far.
She's also our amazing best friend and someone we both look up to. She's Sarah Flamian, our older sister. And by older, I mean way older sister. Welcome to the pod, Sarah.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Do you want to do maybe just a quick intro of yourself over there?
Sure. So all of that is true. I live in our hometown, which probably contributes to the favorite child affect.
100%.
I am married to someone I've been dating for a really long time. So we started dating freshman year in college, and we are coming up on our 20-year wedding anniversary this year.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's
and
crazy.
I have 3 kids. They are a little older than Kate and Ann's. So my oldest is 15. We're moving into the license time, which is
Oh
really
my
interesting.
goodness.
I have a middle daughter who's 13, and I have a younger daughter who is 10. So we're fully in between teen years. And that's our household. We also have a dog, a little Bernedoodle. And then I work in the software industry. So I work as a research architect at Salesforce.
Nice. Well, I love that we look up to you and all of our kids look up to your kids. So it's fun because they are the older cousins and they kind of teach our kids all the good things and some of the bad. And it's so fun. It's awesome.
Yeah. I don't think you are thanking me for everything my children have taught yours, but I really do love that dynamic.
Yeah, it's great.
One that's hitting home now is your daughter had LED lights up around her room. And this weekend we put LED lights up around Grace's room. She had to be like, Stella. Oh.
Well, I know that you have a very tasteful aesthetic in your home, and that is not always how I would describe some of our design choices in the kids' bedroom. So you're welcome.
Free reign to
truthfully,
paint the walls any color in the Flamian household. Not over here. That's for sure.
No. I do appreciate though that you've had to figure it all out on your own, and then Ann and I reap the benefits of all of these learnings.
100%.
Yeah, it is. It's been fun. I love the dynamic of the kids. It's a delight to watch, and mine just love their cousins.
Well,
Awesome.
that will lead into our topic later. It's my day to choose the topic, so that will all blend very well with what we've chosen for today.
Fantastic.
Maybe before we get into all that though, let's do some highs and lows. What say you?
Perfect.
All
I'll
right,
start.
Jan.
All right, I'll kick it off. My high this week has been the sunshine. I hate to do a high-low weather, but I was sitting outside last week almost 100% of the time working, and I got a little burn on my face, and nothing makes Tan Ann feel better than a little crispy cheek sitting outside. I probably overdid it, but it's just been giving me vitamin D, all the vibes, and I'm loving it. So that's my high this week.
Getting that D. Love it.
Getting that D.
It is really beautiful out. I agree. That's lovely. Yeah. Kate, when I hear sunshine, I just picture you singing "You Are My Sunshine" lightly in the background
as my 3-year-old self with that the kind of sad version.
Oh, it's so dramatic. That was Kate's favorite song growing up. We have so many home videos of you singing that song extra,
you know what?
Oh, my golden sun. So dramatic.
Still my karaoke song. No, it's not, but should be.
All right, Kate, what's your high this week?
So I am excited. The parents are coming out here. I'm not as lucky as Sarah to see them all the time. So when they come out, it's a big deal. But they're coming out for my kids' spring break. And it's been on my list, but I finally took the time to plan it. And I think it was a year and a half ago from the school auction, we ended up buying a week in Bodega Bay house and went over there and had just the best I think maybe our best family vacation, which was great because it was an hour and a half away, so easy to get there. My kids love a beach. It was perfection. So anyways, I decided to run it back. The parents have never been there. And I found the cutest Airbnb that I booked. So I'm feeling excited, and it's Dad's birthday when he comes out here. So I just feel like it's going to be awesome.
Is it cold? It's a cold beach though, right? It's not a warm beach.
My kids are weird. To me, it's freezing. Yeah. My kids seem to not feel the cold. Like Grace loves swimming in cold water, even without, we got them wetsuits, but they will get in without it. Cal's more me. He won't get in without the wetsuit. Yeah. But my husband and my daughter love swimming in cold water. I do not understand it.
A cold plunge is literally my nightmare, even though I do it on occasion. It's my nightmare.
It's horrible. Yeah. But we can spend all day, flying kites and building sandcastles and me reading my book, and it's heaven.
Well, that makes me think of cold plunge. And the only thing I have to say is recently I've started to hear a bunch of podcasts on how cold plunge for females as they age might be worse on our stress level than it is for males. And there's nothing I like more than sending that to my husband, who tries to push me into a cold plunge all the time for health benefits. I'm like, it's actually not healthy for me. So anyways.
Yeah, I'm not on the cold plunge train. I just took my 10-year-old not too long ago on a trip to San Diego, and she deeply wanted to get into the frigid water. And I told her I did it. And I said, if you ever want to remember, if I loved you, you remember this moment right here because it's so cold.
Yeah. Never again. My love is
for me. I like bath water temperature.
Yeah.
Same.
For sure.
Sarah, what was your high?
Yeah.
My high is timely because of this. I actually just got to see Anne this weekend.
I know.
My husband Ryan and I went down to Nashville. And we went to a Billy Strings concert with Ann and Phil and some of their neighbors and our friends, Lance and Carrie. So we just had like the best time.
It was
we went to an amazing dinner beforehand at Black Rabbit. It was so good.
So good. Shout out to Black Rabbit in Nashville. The cocktails were on point. The food was great. It was such a good atmosphere. Walkable to the arena. Also, I think
downtown.
Downtown.
Okay. Yeah. What kind of food was it?
Kind of. I would say modern American. I had like the best cocktail of my life. It was so good.
What was it?
It was like apple infused gin.
Yeah.
And then it had cinnamon and lemon and rosemary.
I'm usually not a gin person, but I think that sounds really good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So it was just fun. It was really, no kids and nothing really to do other than hang. So it was such a nice night. The concert was amazing. We went out a little bit afterward. It was just so fun. And then in the morning, we did not have to come home like right away. So I got to spend time with Ann's kids too, which was really
Love
neat.
it.
For better or for worse. They were fighting over Ann's.
We played basketball. Lola did the full face of makeup with my makeup.
Sarah
showing me what is essentially like, it reminded me a lot of Guitar Hero. They were like, why do you know how to do this? I was like, I don't want to tell you how much time I used to do Guitar Hero.
I forget what that app is called. It's an app on the iPad where they can do
You hit
music.
the notes with your finger as they play. We did a lot of that.
Yeah, cute.
Lily read to me. It was really lovely. So it was a great weekend.
Billy Strings is amazing. Sarah, do you remember? It had to be, I was pregnant, so it had to be 7 years ago. We saw him play at a festival on the hottest day of the year, and I was 8 months pregnant and I wanted to die. But Billy Strings was awesome.
He's amazing. I told you, I feel a little bit parental toward him because we used to see him when he was a teenager, like at this local festival, and everyone was like, he is an order of magnitude better than was exactly. He's really going somewhere. So now to see him be so successful is just really makes me really happy. So.
We saw him at Bridgestone Arena, so it's like a bluesy bluegrass, I guess. But he's bluegrass.
And he was the headliner.
There was no opener, and it was the second night, and then the last night he does the Ryman, and the amount of people. I mean, it was sold out. It was insane to see that cool of a bluegrass show, and he stays true to bluegrass. We were talking a lot about that. He didn't like go poppy or anything. It was really great. And I have to admit, it was a little bit jam sesh for me. So like 3.5 hours in, I was ready to wrap it up and go to the bar. But like an hour and a half of Billy Strings was like perfection. It was great.
Yeah.
Good for him. So that's awesome.
Lovely. And I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to make this happen. We're going to talk about this later, I think. But it was supposed to be a free weekend, and then we ended up having several sports tournaments get rescheduled for this weekend. So we were trying to figure out if we could even go. And so it just felt so special that we were able to go.
Yeah. on my side of
awesome.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
And was not sympathetic to the changes.
Well, I kept calling because I had it's kind of a funny joke in our house, but Grace thought FOMO was mofo. So she's always like, "Oh, Mom, do you have mofo?" And I was like, "I have the biggest mofo." Like,
Yeah.
And then I kept calling and you guys weren't picking up. And she goes, "I bet they're at a fun brunch together." And I was like, "Oh, you're savage." But
those
Are they?
mofos,
Are they
those
drinking
mofos
mimosas?
were out having fun without you. How
Totally.
dare.
I was in a savage game of knockout with Ace in his bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel less jealous, to be honest. But
Yeah.
All right. What's your low, Ian?
Okay. Well, my low has one of my kids in it, Ace. Love him, but he is constantly on this. Who's better? Who's better? This dinosaur versus that dinosaur. This shark versus, the whale. Like everything is better. He is now.
Is it better or who would kill each other in a fight?
It depends, but it's always like what's better, who's better. And so it has pivoted to music now. And he is a huge Shabuzi fan. And his epic song, Shabuzi, what is the bar? Tipsy or whatever. Yeah, Tipsy is his favorite. So he got on this like, well, how many downloads has Tipsy gotten? And so we went on and it's millions and millions of downloads. Like I think it was close to 1 billion, right?
Okay.
So then his new song came out, Shabuzi Good News. He's obsessed. It came out in like October, November. So he's like, well, how many downloads does that have? And I'm like, all right, it's like 56 million. It was way under the other one, Tipsy. So now he has made it his life's mission to get those downloads up to whatever it is. So he plays on his Google that he has upstairs, Shabuzi Good News on repeat. So that way it will add to the downloads and he can get that number closer to Tipsy. And it is hysterical, but also this song is haunting me. It's a great song, but when you hear it on repeat all day long, it is an absolute nightmare.
Give me a tune. I can't picture this one.
I got the good news. Okay. Something like that. Obviously, I'm not a singer.
I'm going to
but
have to go listen to that. That's not ringing any bells. I'm sure I've heard it. But...
I think I nailed it, or I can't do better. But anyways, it is hysterical. And I appreciate his zest for wanting to make this the next best thing. But it's too much in this household. So
he's such a little, our dad, Tom, just like a little enthusiast. Which I love. It's like, what a great outlook on life that he thinks he can move Shabuzi into the number one slot. But
he's making life changes for Shabuzi in his mind. Oh, yeah.
I feel like you should reach out to Shabuzi and tell him that story. It's sweet.
Yeah, maybe I'll take a clip of this podcast and send it to him so he knows the love that my son has for him.
Cute.
All right. What's your low, Kate?
Well, it was Tuesday evening. I was trying to get a good routine back in the mix after, a long weekend. We were getting the kids out of the bath, 7:30, 7:40, and Grace, wide eyes goes, oh, I forgot. I'm supposed to bring in a poster for Star Student. I'm the Star Student. And I was like, okay, when's that due? Tomorrow.
Oh, no.
I said, what? And maybe I don't know if I missed an email or was supposed to put something on my calendar. This was news to me.
Let's just say when you missed the email.
I feel like I was speaking to the podcast to say that. But.
Yeah.
I think it's one of these things that like at back to school night, you kind of get your slot and it didn't make it into my calendar, which was a mistake. I'll own it. But poster due tomorrow at 7:45 at night. And then I was like, what does the poster even need to be? It's the most intricate, elaborate thing. And of course I have no supplies. This is the other thing. I got to tighten up. I got to get poster board supplies at home. I got to be ready for this kind of thing. This was an amateur mom moment, but I was like, God, I got to go run to CVS and do all this stuff. And I was just like, I had this moment where I was like, how much are we going to do here? And I was like, we're going to go hard till 8:30. Whatever's done at 8:30 is going to be good enough. So I call my friend and she has a daughter in her class. And I said, can you send me a photo of what this poster is supposed to be? And also, do you have poster board?
That mom is absolutely panicking for you at this point.
This is a shout out to Christina. Thank you for being a better mother than me. She had all her shit together. She said, come on over, grab a poster board. So in pajamas, Grace and I ran over, grabbed the poster board. We're back by 8:00. We had 30 minutes to rip this thing out. She and I are both just in the zone, just in a fury state.
Now, be honest, how much of it did you do? Because in those moments I take over, I think, on accident.
It was all hands on deck. We had 30 minutes, all hands on deck. I was doing the outline. She was filling in the blanks, coloring. It was like, oh, we're supposed to have updated photos. I go, we got what we got. You go dig through your drawer and find the most recent photo. She was 2 years younger in the photo she added. That's what we had.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got this poster turned in. She was the star student. That's now over. We made it through.
Woof. Yeah, that's brutal. Last minute school assignment nightmare.
It's never last minute on the ones that are small.
Yeah.
It's never like, I forgot to study spelling words and there's 7.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always something elaborate that requires supplies and instructions you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, totally. Sarah, what was your low?
Well, my low is long-standing.
Why am I nervous?
Thank you for asking. It's listening to this podcast and your obsessions and not getting the credit that I feel I deserve for being the OG influencer of this group.
Oh my God, I could have seen that coming.
I took it upon myself to make a list of the obsessions you have shared that originated with me.
In your opinion, let's see this list. I love getting a text from you.
Strongly, I was the original recommender of the Ilia makeup.
Okay,
I do like products more than I should.
That's in contention all the way around because I think I gave Anne.
You didn't. You did not give me the serum. I bought it. But I do, in fact, think I heard it from one of you. So I don't know which one of you.
You do know which one.
Yeah. I'll give it to Sarah. Yeah.
Typical.
Then I heard you talking about Billy razors, which I have been using for years. I actually do the subscription because then I don't even have to try to remember when it's time to re-up this.
Okay.
All my children now use them, the shave, love them.
Well, I will say I was shopping at Target when I found it, and maybe in my subconscious, I had heard Billy Razor from you and purchased it because there were a selection of items, and I chose that one out of I don't know why. So I'll give you subconscious.
The eye mask, I have owned that eye mask for, I could probably go look at my Amazon orders and tell you how long, but that soft all the way around eye mask so that you can sleep on planes.
Thought it was
He really went hard in the paint that was hers, so.
I credited my neighbor, which I'm pretty sure sent me the link, but maybe it was a coincidence and it was the same one out of the gajillion eye masks that exist. I'm sure it was identical.
Yeah. The milk frother, I did look it up. I gave it to Mom and not Anne. So I have had this milk frother forever. It's like a little luxury I love in the mornings. I use it every day. And I gave one to Mom for Christmas.
Well, my neighbor got the one for me in the $10 and under favorites Christmas gift exchange. So I have to give credit to Catherine, my neighbor, who gave that to me. But I have seen it on your counter, different brand, afterwards. Maybe I didn't pay attention to it.
Putting it into the universe. But I think you are being influenced strongly by me, and it's seeping into your subconscious. And you were perhaps forgetting to
credit you. All right. So we'll make a note to credit you from here on out. And I will say, you've always been the producteur of the family. No negative connotation there. You always have new products. Anytime I go to your house and I'm getting ready there, it's awesome because I feel like I'm in an actual store. What else am I going to try? You have a lot of products. Maybe it's your teenage daughters as well, but you do have a lot of things that I have gotten from you. So we'll just have to remind ourselves to give you credit where credit is due in the future.
It's a really intense low that I've brought for you today.
Yeah. It's been sitting with you for a while. Now that I know what it is, that's better to me. I love it. All right, good. Well, let's pivot to the topic today. And it kind of goes with the fact that we have our older and wiser sister on today. I thought the topic could be really cool to get parenting wisdom from you. Having older kids, Kate alluded to it at the beginning, you go through things first and we kind of get to see it just from a stage standpoint, a timing standpoint of how old your kids are. And Kate and I talk a lot on this podcast about parenting, but most of what our opinions are things that are going on are elementary school because that's what age our kids are at right now. So we have a lot of things we bring up and interviews we've had with older parents. You are one of those interviews. But I thought it would be really cool to kind of have a topic all on your parenting wisdom and just, tips and tricks, hacks, things you've learned along the way.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, great. Well, maybe we start just because Sage is tech driven. Maybe we start in that way, which is, give us just a little bit of things you experience with tech as you started to raise kids and where you kind of stand with technology. You are heavy into tech with your business and what you do. So just kind of give us an overview of your family in tech and how you've been kind of guiding it from here.
So I work in tech, as does my husband. So we're pretty tech friendly. And we generally have tried to approach it like, I would say the way I think about junk food. It's not banned from the house. I don't prevent them from having it. I try to teach them how to eat a reasonable amount of it when it is around so that as they move into their lives, they can handle it, appropriately. And so our general sense was that we wanted to handle tech the same way. Have it be around, teach them how to use it responsibly, and kind of figure it out as we went. We did not use a lot of tech when they were little. So we didn't have the iPad. We didn't have an iPad until they were much older.
What age?
Like toddlers. We just didn't do that. And we don't watch a ton of TV, which is not like a judgment. It's just not. If the TV's on, it's mostly sports. We don't watch a lot of TV shows. So we didn't have as much of it when they were younger. Like I just didn't have that as a big thought for us at that point. And some of it was just driven by like, I didn't want my kids on the devices when we were at restaurants or whatever. I wanted them like talking to me. So we just didn't introduce it.
So are you going on record to say that you don't use iPads with your kids in restaurants when they were at younger years? Now they're obviously older.
We didn't even have an iPad until they were older.
Okay.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, which meant sometimes my kids were horrific at restaurants. I'm sorry if we brought my children there when they were younger, but I just really didn't. That was like, for me, it's something I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Which again, like I don't really have any strong beef about it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were like screen abstinence, especially for Lucy, I remember, for years. Is that right? Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah. We just noticed that if a TV was on, she was like eyeballs on it. So it wasn't like a formal screen abstinence, but it was like, we just don't want it on if we're not watching it because I don't want her watching it instead of doing other stuff.
Yeah, totally.
What are those other things? Did you have to distract her with activities back then if it wasn't screen time when you needed to like finish dinner or whatever it is? What do you remember doing?
Of these, and it would work for a little bit and then we'd have to come up with a new one. Some of them mom gave me even, I think, like we had like a cookie sheet with magnets and they would like mess around with the magnets and I could kind of see them while I was doing other stuff. We had a litany of those kinds of things. It doesn't work amazing, forever. My diaper bag was enormous because we had like 18,000 different, like, maybe this will distract you kinds of odds and ends in it. But my friends' kids also were kind of similar. So at the time, it just wasn't something we spent a lot of time thinking about. I don't remember like trying to come up with like a real strategy around it. We just didn't.
Yeah. What, if you can remember, what was the pivot then to having your kids either want to, even at an older age, or like what was the pivot of like more tech in their lives? It can be TV, it can be anything, but what was the pivot there for you?
So they eventually got into shows, and we kept an eye on what they watched, but they would each get into something. Like Lucy was obsessed with a show called Octonauts for a while. So they would watch some TV, but again, we could kind of control it at the time. So, we could keep an eye on how much Octonauts she was watching and like keep it to what felt right to us at the time. Our school is very tech forward. So we have a 1-to-1 now. So like every kid has a tech. They use iPads when they're younger and Chromebooks when they're older. So we started, even when they were in school, getting introduced to like new things. They do a lot of like IXL and that kind of stuff, even early. They would get into weird things. So they got really, for a while, they wanted to learn how to type. and they were doing this like BBC app where it was like a typing tutor thing, and they were like really into that. So they would just start getting into it, usually by way of something obscure they would very much get into. It kind of, Anne, reminded me of what you were talking about. They would get competitive about it.
Yeah.
So we kind of like eased our way into it through these apps and TV shows that were, pretty innocuous at the time, I thought.
Yeah.
What about video games and messaging? When did that enter your life?
Roblox was the first real video game I remember having to think about. We didn't have like a gaming system when they were younger, so they just didn't play a lot here. But Roblox was the first one where everyone was playing it. And I had to really is everyone else doing this? Like, are your kids on it? Can you chat with people on it? I had to do like a lot of research online to try to figure out, does this feel safe or not?
And what rough age was that? Do you remember?
I want to say it was probably around like 4th grade, somewhere around there. Where they started wanting to do this thing that everybody was doing and like be able to talk about it. And then when I went to look at it, it's not what I expected. It's like very blocky. Have you ever played Roblox?
Yeah.
It's like very blocky. And I don't know, I thought it was going to be like a more sophisticated gaming system, but it is very, so then we had to talk about like, if anybody offers you Robux, you say no. Like, you don't need Robux from anyone else. That's a common way that people like kind of use Roblox to try to connect with kids in ways that like you don't see coming. So we had to like look up all these like lures or things to be careful of with the games and then look at them. So that's when I started. I can remember using things like Common Sense Media or asking other parent friends, like, is this one okay? Is that one okay?
Yeah.
What about messaging and stuff like that? Or like getting more into like the personal, either online communication or personal content? Like, when did that sort of enter your life?
Kind of 2 ways. One, when Lucy was 11, she was figure skating and she was down at the rink a lot. And I just didn't love her being there without a phone, honestly. And I didn't want to sit at the rink for that much of my life. So sometimes I would be there. Sometimes I'm like, I'm real comfortable. She's being taken care of. But then if anything happens or she needs me, I want to have a way to get a hold of her. So that was like our original thinking. We're going to do this. And then with COVID, everybody was talking through the app. And that was like the only way they were communicating. And she was genuinely like lonely. So we thought, well, okay, we'll let her start messaging through the apps. And we had all the rules like, that I've heard you guys talk about. Like, I can look at her phone at any time and read these messages if I want. And I would look at them and they were all, for the most part, like, nothing upsetting was being
insanely
said.
silly. And
they were silly, And then we had to start talking through some of the dynamics of group text, who's in the group text, who's not. We had a situation I can remember where one of mine said something not super nice on a text message. And we had to talk about like, can you see why that's hurtful? And also, did you see how many people saw that? What if this had been something really bad that wasn't like minor,
Was a lot of that middle school timing, or was that still
it was younger.
late elementary?
It was younger than I thought. So it was really like 4th grade, they were asking. 5th grade, they were really wanting it. And we were one of the last people at the time.
Yeah.
Even people I thought certainly weren't going to do it did. And so that's like when we did it. Now, like my 10-year-old likes to message on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
Which is not as many people. I don't remember as many people doing it when Lucy was younger. But they message and, they mostly like to use the face filters and like, it's just silliness. They like to play these little 2-person games you can do. I think she and Grace were playing chess, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but that's about the age that I remember it starting. And then it was probably more than we would have wanted, but it was COVID. So we were all kind of trying to decide what to do. Yeah. And at that same time, Nora started getting into it, but for like learning things. Like she's an amazing baker and I cannot bake to save my life. She learned it entirely through YouTube. She learned magic tricks. She got really into magic trick kick and was learning them all through YouTube. It's like we were on YouTube a lot, like for these niche skill hobby things.
Yeah. Well, and we've seen that with a lot of our interviews, parents saying the same thing. One, COVID was a good reason a lot of people got into it, to start having that communication to connect kids when you couldn't see each other face to face. And then 2, also these niche things. I mean, content, our stance from a Sage perspective has always been its content can be really good, and there's a lot of good out there, especially when you want to learn how to bake or learn all these things.
Yeah.
That is great content. So that's definitely a good intro into YouTube, are the good use cases, I guess, of YouTube. It's just going down those rabbit holes and whatnot. But having that conversation with them to kind of educate them and teach them is part of why we wanted to create Sage, is to kind of get an on-ramp for kids to use tech, because tech is not necessarily bad. It's just teaching them how to do it in the right way. When you started to do more of the messaging and stuff, did you start to see any struggles with them wanting more screen time than you were comfortable with, or any boundaries that you felt like at that point you needed to, like, you know, deal with?
You know, COVID was weird. So it's hard to even remember the context of having these discussions during COVID, because the only communication for the most part was like screen time for a while.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like, when my next daughter, my 13-year-old, started messaging, there's like some dynamics to it that I just hadn't anticipated. So like, she got an iPhone and they can FaceTime, and they will talk, and then they'll just be on the phone they're just on the phone, but they're not engaging. They're like each doing something.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back and talk a little more, and then they'll just be on the phone together. Like, I hadn't thought about how, does that count as screen time if you're not actually doing anything with the screen and you're like,
you're
doing
just
homework,
present,
or you're cleaning your room? Like, do I care if you're on FaceTime with your friends or not? Like, that's not something obviously that happened when I was younger. So it wasn't something I had even considered when thinking about how to set screen time boundaries.
That's interesting, because, you know, even in adulthood, we always joke about those memes that are like you being on the phone with your sisters and it being just like one person doing stuff and the other person just waiting. And like, you know, it's just like you're just present with each other. That's like a huge part of just, I don't know, being close with somebody. So it's funny that you saw that at that age.
I kind of feel like that's good screen time. To me, that's connecting, whether you're active or not. It's like, oh, we're kind of doing something together. It's a shared experience. It's like, I don't know. My vibe, my opinion is like, I am not bothered by that unless you're not able to get your homework done, unless da-da-da-da-da. But it's like, I could give two craps about that. I don't even count it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've, you know, that was a discussion, like what is okay screen time and what is not. We did have to talk about some content. It's less like scary content and more like like gross. Like, I can remember when Stella first started looking at some stuff on YouTube, like having to talk about unboxing videos.
Oh, yes.
Like, no, we're not. That is not a real life thing that I want you to like be taking in. Or like these elaborate family ones where like the parents would construct these whole sets for the playtime, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I got
like,
this.
This isn't like how you play. Like, if you want to play teacher, make your school and play teacher. You don't need me to script it and set up a thing. So we had to talk about how that's like somebody's job. You know, there were just some conversations about the types of content that as they're starting to do it, you kind of see trickle into there.
Well, I specifically remember that example from you as we were talking about screens way before this podcast, which is like, it's good to know, because we hadn't really gotten into YouTube yet. At that time, my kids were way younger. And to understand and have that conversation, and like, those family things are weird. Like, my feelings towards watching those families play of uncomfortable is like a common feeling that a lot of parents have, because yes, it's not realistic for families to make their whole house a like racetrack or unbox 50 boxes of toys. And hearing your perspective on that helped me, because it was like, yeah, that is gross. You're right. I don't like that.
Some of that was also like YouTube really just added that For You feed in shorts in the last 3 years. So that's actually like a newer phenomenon where YouTube went from being this place of like cool niche content, even if some of it wasn't to your taste or it was like a little over the top, like at least it wasn't the addictive monster that it sort of morphed into recently, where it's more or less TikTok for kids with shorts. Have you experienced that, or have yours kind of aged out of YouTube and onto other things before that like YouTube addiction is present?
No, I mean, they're all it's in different ways, but Stella will get sucked into the
shorts.
Yeah, where she'll look up and it's an hour and a half later, you know, and so you have to like keep eyes on her and say like, that's plenty, now let's go do something else. She's not great at self-regulating it.
Yeah.
The older ones, it's more like meme culture, just like meme after meme after meme after meme. Even if they're manually scrolling it, it's like that, just constant, And I don't at premise have trouble with the things they're looking at. So like we've been in a lucky place that they're all pretty trustworthy. Like when I go look at the stuff that they're doing, I'm like, oh, this is generally fine.
Yeah.
And we would probably have different rules if it were not. But it's just that constant, like, okay, you've been scrolling Pinterest, which is, or you've been scrolling these memes for long enough, and now we gotta.
Does Pinterest have all the memes too? Like I think of on the other,
or not memes, but like I'm gonna look at friendship bracelets, and I'm gonna look at 60. Which it's like, okay, that's too many.
Yeah,
you got some ideas, go make one. Like it's just it's just that scrolling thing that we've tried to think about how to manage. And we had, I know you asked me a lot about social media. Like we had tried to start with like no social media. But then what we were finding is, everyone knew a TikTok dance that they'd never even heard of. Or, they were really out of the pop culture loop. And I can remember that feeling. Like my friends had all seen a show that my mom didn't want me to see. And it felt so cool when I finally could watch it, even if the content wasn't, like 902 wasn't winning any awards for like, great children content.
I was watching,
but I can remember when I saw it and I knew
who
the people were and could like kind of be part of that conversation.
Yeah.
So then we started like, well, you can be on it some, like, but you can't post. Like, I don't want you making 40 TikToks a day about your life or trying to become an influencer. So you can consume it a little, but I don't want you posting until you're older.
How'd that work?
Okay. It's still the like, how much is too much? And, we've benefited a little from the fact that they don't like when they go to hang out with their friends and their friends only want to be on their phone making TikToks. Like they personally don't like that. So it's made it a little bit of an easier sell.
Yeah.
But it's just a tough, and now Lucy is in high school and she can post if she wants to, And so we have to talk about like, think about what you post,
Yeah, it can stick with you.
I think it's so interesting because I do think the culture, like the cool factor, what everybody's talking about, it's like most parents do end up giving access because of this, where it's like, you don't want your kid to be ostracized. Of course, you want to give them a little autonomy. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a really tricky thing. And I think for me, I so wish there was an option that gave them that just wasn't designed to be so damn addictive. Yeah. It's like, that's to me, like where it gets so frustrating. And it's no one's fault. I mean, it's no one's fault except for the tech companies building these products to optimize for engagement.
Right.
But it's like, some of that's totally fine. It's just so hard to do some and not have it turn into more than you want. And that's just the tricky thing here. And I don't know if it's going to be legislation that does it, if it's new products that do it, if it's a cultural shift that does it, or if we just continue with the status quo. But like, I don't know. I get so worried about how addictive these things are. And when you look at just like screen time averages, which Sarah, I know your kids are so far under the national average on screen time, but it's like, that's what scares the hell out of me. I don't know. Yeah. And have you seen this like with their friends and like, you're living that world? Like, are you seeing their friends on screens?
Yes.
70 hours a day?
Where I'm like, this is what I don't want. Like, do you see how odd that was when we went to dinner with a big group and they said like 4 words because they were on their phone the whole time.
Right.
Like they missed the dinner, So we had that conversation like quite a bit, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard for parents. Like, I enjoy Instagram. I get some news there. I get some like food recipe things, inspo.
Yeah, you get some genuine friendship connection.
Yeah, I like that. But then like, I'll look down and I'm like, I didn't need that last 30 minutes. I just got it. It was like a habit. So I think adults are even still trying to figure it out. So I don't know what the answer is, but we did really find like when we, a couple times we tried to take a hard line. Like, we're not going to do like Snapchat was my, like, I don't want you to do Snapchat. Like, for whatever reason, I'm like, the idea that you can send these things that disappear. And I just I don't like that.
Yeah.
That is their text messaging platform. I mean, that is how her friends text. They don't talk in message text. They talk in Snap. And I tried to say no. And it was like, I think we were on a volleyball team. And like, she did not know what was happening. She wasn't part of the inside jokes. She didn't know when they were all going to show up doing something, like she was just out of it. And so we let her have it to engage with them. And then I tried to like look at what was going on there, but it's such a slippery slope. But we definitely a couple of times tried to say no, and then felt like maybe we needed to change our approach and try to think about how to limit it rather than block it.
Well, you say limit it. Screen time is a huge thing we hear from our parents, which is like, I'm having a hard time navigating screen time and boundaries throughout every age. Let's end kind of the tech conversation with a positive of like, what has worked in your house to kind of help in those moments, have them shut it down when you feel like they're using it too much, or like maybe even a rule that you have in your house that has worked in a positive way to get your kids to not use tech?
I think what has helped us is to try to give a fun alternative. So if I just say it's 3 hours, you're at 3 hours, cold turkey, you're off, it has been much more effective when I say we're targeting like 3-ish hours. It seems like you've been on it about 3 hours. Why don't we go walk the dog? Or do you want to play a board game? Or how's that book coming that you were telling me you were so into? It's like they need the transition to what else they could be doing that is also interesting. If I leave it all up to them and it's just like, put your phone away and now come up with something else, sometimes we have a hard time making that transition. It works a little better if I can give them a thing to go do.
Yeah. Okay. I love it.
You guys have done such a great job, I think, keeping strong relationships with your girls at every age. One of the really common complaints that we hear is like, it's so distancing, adds so much tension to that like parent-kid relationship. Like, what have you learned about letting them have it in moderation? But like, how also have you cultivated the connection and like had them still feel like they can come to you? Still have those conversations, even if it's about tricky stuff or friendship struggles. I don't know. What's worked for you guys?
We are really intentional about like family time. So we have dinner together almost every night, even if it means sometimes the dinner is at a weird time.
And do you do no screens at dinner, I'm assuming?
We do no screens at dinner. So we're talking, and everyone has to say something they're thankful for. And we've tried various versions of, like high-low kind of stuff. High-low buffalo was one we did for a little while, like some high-low and some funny. But we've just tried these like different things, but like we really try to have that time. I think also like not acting like I'm anti-tech in front of them, because the more your parents hate something, the more interesting it is.
Totally.
There's some truth in
A
that.
tale as old as time.
Yeah, right. So like we will share back now that they're teenagers, like funny memes, and like sometimes they can work like an annoyance I have, which is like minor with my oldest, is like her room always has like 80 cups in it. Like, why are you hoarding all my cups up here? I go to get a drink and I'm like, where are my cups? And then I found this meme, and it was like when my teenager cleans out their room and tries to come to the kitchen. And it was like somebody driving like a station wagon that had so much stuff on it, they could barely like turn the corner. So it's hilarious. Like we kind of trade memes back and forth a little bit sometimes,
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think just making sure you're like talking to them. I think the other thing, like you had mentioned, we have a good relationship. I'm like by nature a solver. Like, you give me your problem and let's like workshop a solution. Let's talk about how we like take action. And through like therapy and some other things. Yeah, right? I'm such an oldest child. I have like learned sometimes they're not coming to me for a solve. They just want to like air a grievance or just be heard. And so we've really tried to work on like, ooh, that sounds awful. That sounds really tough. Like, and then do you want me to just listen? Or like, do you want to like talk about what we might do? And sometimes they just want to like listen, they just want me to hear it. So that they feel like they've been heard and I know what they're going through.
And you, as the older sister, have a hard time holding your facial expression. So I'm sure that's hard when they come at you with something that you're not settled with.
I mean, kind of, but also I think I was very much thinking that as the parent, I should like shield more, like protect them from my emotions and my noise. So like some stuff they would tell me would really spin me up, bullying or something, you know, and I'd be like, oh. And then in front of them, I would try to do a like very measured, oh, that's really hard. Let's talk, you know, but very controlled. And that's another thing that I've learned through some therapy and other things, that like, it's important sometimes to like let them see that you are struggling with something.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that.
I hear you. And that makes me like really mad. I don't know how I feel about it right now, but I'm feeling really mad, and I need like a minute to think about it. But thank you for telling me, you know, like,
yeah.
That there's like danger. And if you act too controlled, then they feel like maybe they have problems and you don't. And
yeah. I love that.
Seem like the dangerous or sad.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I feel like that is like, you know, it's like we're talking about parenting at every stage, right? And a lot of the feedback you get when you're younger is let them have emotions, right? It's the same concept as let your emotions show to them. I love that. That's like super important, because it's like all of us have reactions to things, and it's healthy to fit, you know, for people to be super open. And I think that just, it makes you more open to them. Like they understand you a little bit more. Yeah.
And you model for them how to handle emotions. So another thing that I heard from my teenager once is, you and dad don't ever fight. I don't feel like I really know how to fight with someone and it'd be okay. And I was like, what? Like, we never fight, but we don't do it in front of them. Like if we have an argument, it takes place after they've gone to bed, when they're not around. Like that's when we argue, you know, not that we're like big arguers, but like, you know, we don't show them. And so it was like, oh, like, no, healthy relationships do have conflict. Here's like what we do, you know?
Yeah.
But I hadn't thought about the fact that by never letting them see it, they were just under the assumption it never happened.
Right.
You know?
And they didn't know how to handle conflict themselves, potentially, if they didn't see you go through that. Yeah.
Right.
So now you guys fighting in front of them, or?
We do try to just talk about things more openly. Like I had such a tough thing happen at work today. Like I am so sad about it, you know?
Yeah.
And let them like hear that, or, you know, like, you know, most of our arguments that get aired to them are silly. Like, you know,
I had to laugh. There was,
annoyances, but
the kids were a little bit younger, but Chris and I got into some sort of dispute in front of them, and Grace looked up. She goes, "Is this a squabble?" She had heard it on Bluey.
Yes, Grace.
Is this a squabble?
This
it is a squabble. This
is
you're looking at a real-time squabble here.
Yeah.
I love Bluey.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice as a parent to like, you know, the instinct is to protect. And I found it really kind of freeing to be like, you don't always have to fully protect them from everything you're feeling. You don't have to be performative. You can just kind of like sometimes have feelings that you haven't really worked out yet.
Have you had kids just like shut down? Like have they always had good open dialogue, or have there been tween angsty stages where it's like they want nothing to do with you?
So the thing I guess I didn't know was going to happen is everything is existential. Like when you're a teenager and you have a problem, it is spiraling. Like have you seen Inside Out 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a scene in it where the teenager is like, this isn't going to go wrong. Then they're not going to let me sit with them at lunch. Then I'll have no friends. Then I'll like, you know, it goes into this like spiral of doom.
Yeah.
That is like teenagers to a T. I felt so seen. And so sometimes I need to go through the spiral of doom and then, you know, settle. And then once they settle, we can talk. But sometimes I'll tell them something and their reaction to me is as though I'm like the most naive person who's ever walked the face of the earth. I don't possibly know what their life is like. It's like I've never been in a school before, you know, like they're so eye rolling.
Possibly. You could
have. Yeah, it's so what? That wouldn't work. That would never work. And then 3 days later or something, someone else will give them the same piece of advice.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. And then they'll come home and say it to me as though it's like sage wisdom that they have procured, you know, and it is really hard not to be like, what? Like the thing I said to you 3 days ago on Sunday, that advice.
Well,
but sometimes they just need to hear it from somebody else.
Yeah. I think that's awesome too for our dynamic to have sisters, because I think we can rely on each other a little bit in that way, where if the aunt says something, maybe it's a little bit different than if the mom says something.
Just hits different if it doesn't come from the parent. So some of it is like giving them the space to, we try to get them out of the spiral, but let them, like, I'm not going to be able to have a great conversation while they're spiraling. You know?
One of the other topics we talk about that's come up a bunch is just, how do you find that balance with all the extracurriculars? So I know, especially in middle school, and I'm assuming this is true all over the country, but here where I live in Northern California, the sports, and I don't even care if it's theater or whatever you're into becomes insane with the schedules and the mom taxing, and like it's a whole thing. Like, how have you navigated all of that?
It's hard. Ryan and I, my husband, we just shared a meme. It's from New Girl.
Okay.
And it's Nick in the middle, and he's like surrounded by the friends, but he's screaming, "I decide." And in it, he's labeled like kids' sports schedules. And then it's like the rest of your life, your vacation plans, you know,
Yeah.
It's like that's how my life feels right now.
Yeah.
Like the transition from toddlers, you're busy in a different way. Like my kids can go be by themselves a little bit and they're fine. I don't need to like have eyes on them all the time. But my control of my schedule has really gone away. I have so little control over our schedule because it's extracurriculars and sports and travel sports. And, you know, we just have a lot of activities. You know, the time in the car, like, is one-on-one time, which we don't often get even at home. You know, there's not that much one-on-one time. So sometimes we can have conversations that are, you know, like I can have a conversation with Nora that isn't appropriate for Stella, and we can like get into it or like really talk about something, you know.
Yeah, a good connect time.
Yeah,
I've heard
it's
too
connect
that
time.
I saw something that was saying like when you leave an activity, don't talk about that activity, say nothing about it, but just talk about everything else. And like it seems so obvious, but when it's said, it's like, oh yeah, maybe I do that. Like when I'm coming over from practice, I'll focus on talking about the practice versus like letting them just guide the conversation to something else. I like that.
Yeah. So one, you know, I just talked to a friend this morning and her kids are now driving, and she was like, I didn't realize how much I was getting out of those car rides until I don't have them anymore. You know?
Yeah. So appreciate them is what you're saying, even though your life can be harder at that stage.
And sometimes like they need to do a lot of reading for school. And so sometimes now it's like, we'll use that car time. Like when we drive, you read and I'll listen to a podcast or something, you know? And so I try to have like something I can do in the car that is enjoyable to me also.
Yeah.
But when they're in the mood,
it's
nice.
Has that pinched the family dinners and the family time, or how?
We try to still have dinner together most nights. It does mean that some nights dinner is at like 7:30 at night or 5 or, you know, and sometimes the timing is weird, but we still try to do it. Every once in a while they'll split. Yeah. So it's like these two are going to have dinner and these three.
Yeah.
But we do still try to do it. But there's a lot of parent logistics at this time of life.
Totally.
What's a hack you have for parents in this stage? Like you said, activity. Like, is there something that you keep in your car that if you're waiting for them after practice, or if you're in the car all night driving around, like what's a hack potentially that you have or a tip?
Well, one is we bought these neck lights. It's like a book light, but it goes around your neck. It's like a U, and then the lights are on the end.
Yes, I've seen them.
Yeah, points at your book. That has really helped me because they can read their book and not have an overhead light on, or like, you know, they would have a light and then periodically it would shine up in my eyeballs as I'm trying to drive. So that is like a nice hack for them so that they can read even when we're driving around at night and not be disruptive. So I like that. I really just try to have like a bunch of podcasts and stuff queued up.
Yeah. Sage
for
Sisters.
For me, like,
oh, right.
A list of podcasts that are like clean enough that I can listen to it if they're reading or whatever. And that way it feels to me like I'm getting a little something that I wanted, you know, like I'm enjoying the ride, even if they are busy reading or doing something or not in the mood to talk to me. You know?
Yeah.
Or sometimes we'll make like they'll DJ now. So I'll give them my phone and they can stream it. And so I'm getting a window into what music they're into, or, you know.
Yeah.
I like that too. So that has been like a fun, you're kind of bonding. You're also like, you know, you have nice music to listen to while you're driving.
All right. We got to kind of move into the final stages here, but I'd love to hear, as the last question of our topic here, what's your favorite part of parenting older kids and teens?
They're so great. I mean, they're into stuff now that I'm also into. I don't have to like fake interest in their interests. You know, some of the things they were into when they were younger is like, that's not my jam, but let's talk.
Yeah.
So like we just went to see Hadestown, which is a musical on Thursday. And it's like, it's a fantastic musical and we all enjoyed it and we're listening to the music together. That's really fun. I think their sense of humor now is like legit funny. You know, Stella, my 10-year-old, is like the queen of the one-liners. She can just really land them and it just sends me, you know, it's funny. It's just funny at any, you know, at any age. That's a funny one-liner right there. And then I think my favorite thing is we can just do stuff. Like when they were younger, it took a lot of planning. You know, we had to like be home by a certain time and we had to have snacks and we had to bring like a change of clothes probably. And, you know, like just had to do a lot of thought to do anything.
Mhm.
And now we can just be like sometimes we'll go to a local restaurant that has golden tea and like,
Mhm.
we don't have anything tonight. Doesn't even feel like going and playing golden tea, and we can just go do it. You know, there's
fun.
a lot less required.
A little more
for that.
spontaneity.
Yeah, more spontaneity.
One thing I got from you, which I want to say too to close it out, which is I loved that you have done, I think you chose the age of 10, but it can be any age, where when that child hit that age, you took them on a one-on-one trip, mom and daughter. And I love that. And they got to choose the city, and each of them were very different and unique. But I just wanted to say that was one of my favorite things that I can't wait to do with my kids. And I think we'll probably pick 10 as well as the age. But that was a super cool thing that I've already stolen from you that I can't wait to implement.
We have loved our 10 trips. It's such a good age because they still want to be like, they're still like real into you, you know?
Yeah.
We have no choice but to follow that. Like,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Once the kids heard, Grace thinks she's going to Paris for her 10th. I was like,
ours had to be domestic.
Totally. I'm gonna rein that in, but I just had to laugh.
Yeah.
It's like you're doing stuff and then they see it and they're like, oh, we're doing that. I'm like,
that's how it's done.
Thank you, Sarah, for that expensive trip at 10. Appreciate you. No,
wow,
I think it's going to be cute.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, before we move into obsessions, just so excited. We were so excited to have you on. And thank you for being so open about all these topics. Because again, all the parents are feeling this same kind of pressure. And it's just so awesome to hear perspective of somebody who's going through kind of the next stage we're about to be at. So appreciate you.
Well, I told you, I love what you're doing here. It's a tricky topic. I don't think there's anybody who's really got it figured out. Everybody's trying stuff and putting out some hypotheses. So I like listening to you all kind of work through it.
Awesome.
Thanks.
All right, let's get into the final stage here. Anne, hit us with your obsession.
My obsession will not be a surprise if you are a listener of this podcast, but I went to Target, and yes, I did buy more clothes that Kate always makes fun of me for, but there is a new sweat set that is like a short sleeved kind of crop, but like hits below, it hits in the right spot for a mom. And then like a sweater skirt that goes with it.
Is it athleisure looking?
It's athleisure, but it looks elevated. And so I've been wearing it like almost every day. I have the skirt on right now with a different top, but it's just, I bought cream, but they have different colors. So cream on cream, but it is just, it's very classic looking and it's comfortable and it's flattering and it's inexpensive. It's like my wins.
What you were wearing when I came?
Yes, on Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, I said, Anne looks so fancy, just like in her house. Like a little home influencer here, but
Ooh,
that was that Target set.
Target set. I got it last week, and I have just been wearing it, like I said, every day. Too much, but I really am a huge fan of it.
It looked great.
Thank you.
I love Target. I'm sure it's fashionable. I would like to just see if our sound editor could cut in a little montage of a podcast a few ago where you were saying you don't spend that much at Target.
Well, first of all, I don't buy that much stuff. You're acting like I buy a lot of stuff.
I believe the statement was, you said, I spend less on clothes in a year than you do. And I said, bullshit. Like, you may buy less, but your clothes are much more expensive than mine. Therefore, it probably evens out.
Let's let the receipts do the talking, or your husband. But
okay. All right. Kate, what's your obsession?
Okay. Mine is also an article of clothing. I have recently discovered sports bras where there's no take them out boob pads. They're just sewn in.
Tell me more.
Yeah. It's like, I've always hated those boob pads after you wash them. They're just not right. And they're all crinkly and weird. But if you go totally without, that's a little too much exposure, if you know what I mean. So I'm like, I like something. And Nike has a few. I got one last year and I find myself reaching for it. So I ended up getting another one. So now I have two great Nike ones, different styles, but they're just sewn in and they wash great and they look great. And there's also, then I went looking because I'm like, it's like I'm at the age where I want all good underwear. You know, I don't want that weird underwear. I'm just all good. So this is my new thing, and it's going to have to take time because sports bras are expensive, but I'm going to move to a place where I have all good sports bras, all with the boob pads completely sewn in.
Yeah.
And I found one that's cheaper than Nike called Under Outfit. They have a Now Sunday Razorback. It's real soft, so I like that feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfection. It's absolute perfection.
Okay, I will buy this. I don't have it. I always start off with the sports bra looking great, and then after you wash it, it gets weird.
Totally.
And it's like, nips in your 40s is not pretty anymore. It's not like a good look, right?
No.
And so I need a boob pad. But like, I get so frustrated with the look of those. I'm all in.
Fold in half.
Yes,
and then I have like a
totally.
line across my boob at some point.
Yes. It's
So-
not, it's tough. It's tough out here. Okay.
Great rack.
All right.
If you're a brand and you're listening, sew those suckers in. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Sarah, what's your obsession that we will pretend we didn't hear and then use in a future podcast?
I brought you two. I brought a
Okay.
beauty one. It is a lip oil.
Oh,
It's NYX. Do you say
Yeah.
that? Do you just say NYX?
I think so. That's
I
what I
say it.
do. Yeah.
It's called fat oil, and it's like about yay big, and it's kind of a fat tube.
Okay.
Sub $10, so you can buy.
Fat oil is an interesting brand.
I was
I'm
going to say,
like,
there's not many places in my
you'll
body
find it
that put
because
fat
of-
oil.
Fat oil.
Okay.
It's great. It's like just the right amount of color and shine. It's not sticky. It doesn't have a weird smell. It's
is this a
not
drugstore brand or do I have to go to
drugstore
Sephora?
brand.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's at CVS.
And I think it went
Yeah.
TikTok viral. So like it's not. Then they tried to have other
Okay.
fat oils. The original, the OG, that's like short and fat and looks
Okay.
like oil in a tube is.
Well,
great.
Anne's always got dry lips, so this is headed
I know.
your way.
and
I
it's
tell you,
moisturizing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've
it's
tried
great.
it all. Okay.
I
Next
recommend
up.
it. There's also one in a stick that's like a little more pigmented and creamy. It's also
Okay.
nice, but the original is my favorite.
Okay. Fat
What's
oil.
your second?
Then my second item is a food item because you talk about the Yuga app or Yuga on here like
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
It is called Lifeway Farmer Cheese. Have you ever seen this?
No.
What's it called again? Say
Lifeway is the brand and it's called
Lifeway.
Farmer Cheese.
okay. No, I
Really?
have not
It's
seen
in like
this.
a tub like a cream cheese. It's perfection. It rated highly, so you'll be happy.
Great.
It's like they describe it as a blended cousin of cottage cheese.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's really high protein.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a consistency in between cream cheese and ricotta.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But
Is it
Like,
like
when I
more
make-
mozzarella? Is it more cream cheese?
no,
What's
it's
the
more like
taste?
a cream cheese. I use it like a cream cheese.
Okay.
Interesting.
So like I'll
Okay.
get my Dave's, I'll put on my farmer cheese, get a nice hit of protein, but it feels like cream cheese, not like I'm trying to use cottage cheese for other things.
Well, I love
Eggs, it's
this.
great.
I'll use it because I've been on a kick with cottage cheese. And Kate, you inspired me to do the homemade bagel at home
Yeah.
and use like Greek yogurt. So I did the cottage cheese version this weekend.
And
Fed it to Sarah on Sunday. Delicious. But you have to blend the cottage cheese. And then I did like a mac and cheese for the kids where it was like I did it with bone broth and cottage cheese to make it protein. And it's just like consistency that I wish I had what you just said to make
You
some
need
of these
farmer cheese in
recipes.
your life. I
Okay.
picked it up on a whim and then I was like, what is this sweet magic? This is great.
All right. Good ones. I like that.
lip oils and cheeses.
I
I'm
think
here
I'll
for
buy
of
all.
these.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
that-
I'm going
those
to.
are both
Those
compelling.
are really on
Mhm.
brand for me. A beauty product and cheese.
Yeah.
Well, you are from the Midwest. We got to represent.
That's right. I love
All right,
it.
cool. We're long here. We got to wrap it up. It's Sarah. Grateful for you to come on. Thanks for being our first guest. I think we did pretty good. Nailed it.
Yeah.
All right.
Super fun.
Love you guys. Lilas.
Lilas.